What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's another video we're doing, and today we're talking about Arsenal's squad depth. It is crazy. Is it scary? I don't know, but it's definitely crazy. And another thing we're talking about is who will challenge Arsenal for the Premier League title this season. Who? Will anybody step up? That's what we're talking about today, guys. Let's have it. Right, so we're going to start talking about the squad depth first, and basically the new signings, so Bruno Guimaraes, Tzolis, and Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa. I didn't think Arsenal was going to do it after last season and what we spent last summer and the squad depth we got. I didn't expect them to go out and sign some players this year. I didn't expect Trossard to leave this year. But the business they've done has been of such that I've never seen a move like this in my life. In as long, sorry, 2 seconds. Let me just move that curtain for a little bit more light. In as long as I've supported Arsenal since '98, and I was born in the early '90s, I've never seen a move like this. Everyone I've spoken to says, "Oh no, you shouldn't have sold Trossard. Should have kept him for another year." Tzolis is basically Trossard. I mean, all right, he's Premier League unproven. He played for Norwich. I'm not too sure if that was in the Premier League or whether that was in the Championship. We're not too sure about that. But Trossard's had 1 year left on his contract. He was 31 years old, I believe. And rather than, we wasn't going to offer him a new contract as a 32-year-old, possibly could have offered him a year extension. But if we had done that, someone else could have picked up Tzolis. And then next summer, we would have been looking around for someone, and I guarantee you wouldn't have found someone within that price range who we've all got high expectations from such a low budget signing. When you think of £30 million nowadays, it's pocket change to the transfers that are going on nowadays. You know, Morgan Rogers for almost 120 million. I'm trying to think of transfers that have been sort of like overpaid for. But yeah, just that example. I'm not going to sit here and think for longer than that. But yeah, I just believe that when you sell Trossard for the amount we sold him for, after we bought him for what, 24 million, sold him for 18, I believe, with add-ons that add up to about 21 million. So we've got basically all the years of service we had for Trossard. We technically got it for free bar wages. We got it for a low amount of money anyway. And the service he gave us was nothing short of... I was about to say legendary, but I struggled to say legendary. I know he won the Premier League for us, and his goals were instrumental. They were massive. And every time, you know, when he started, when he used to come on off the bench and he done well, he got the chance to start. And most of the time, he wouldn't take advantage of that. So he was more like a super sub. And teams need that. Especially if you're going for titles, you need a super sub who can come on, prove a point, prove his worth within 10 minutes of a game. That's gone now. But we have got Tzolis, and I don't think he's going to be as clinical in terms of if we gave him 10 minutes, he'd come on and he'd just manage to pop up in the right areas. He managed to get a goal. That's still to be seen. The judgment is it can't be judged yet. You know, like I said, it still needs to be seen. So Martinelli wise, I believe that it feels like we're forcing him out the door with this Galatasaray thing. I know he's rejected it and he's staying, as you know, as far as I know. But could his will to want to be an Arsenal player help him perform this season? Will we take more risks? Will we try to score more goals? Will we be maybe a little bit more selfish? Will he be trying to get better numbers to show a Mikel Arteta you don't need a new left winger? Considering Martinelli's happy to be a backup, happy to be played in rotation, loves the Arsenal, doesn't want to move, would commit to a contract for life. I don't know whether it's a mistake getting rid of him or not. I don't know whether he will leave this summer or not. And if he does, who are we going to get as a left winger to come in and play backup to Tzolis? or will there be a you know, like a player that comes in that's better than Trizollis or on a higher level, or is he a youngster? Or all these options could exist. So I don't think we're going to go in for Barcola. If we do, wow, I think he will become a great player, especially in the Premier League with more time, more game time given to him. Given a role that makes him feel more important. I think he probably will go to Liverpool. I mean, all the links and suggestions and reports are saying that that's what's going to happen. But that would be, for me, if we signed Barcola on top of what we've already got, then wow, honestly, this is, you're looking at an AA plus in terms of, I can't really give it an A plus because we was linked to Vinny and it almost happened. As much as fans like to take the mick and say that Vinny was using us for a better deal, of course he was. He always wanted to stay at Madrid, but Madrid wasn't going to offer him a higher pay packet. They was going to accept it or don't accept it. Whatever, Vinny, that's the offer. Arsenal come in and offered a good amount of terms, and he looked at it, he was like, oh wow, okay, fair enough. Well, Real Madrid have to now up their offer, otherwise I'm actually quite tempted to go to the Emirates. You know, if you put yourself in Vinny's brain for a minute, then yeah, you know, that happened. So Arsenal were this close, but because Real Madrid, Mourinho and the board got together, spoke about it, offered him a better deal, he accepted it. And that's fair play to him. But at least we was there talking to him. At least we was there with the offer. At least we have the ability to be able to talk to someone like that. The ability to be able to offer him terms that he would even consider. So I can't give it an A plus because we didn't get him, but we was that close. But an A is there because I like Trizollis, I like Bruno Guimaraes, I like Konza. I love signing players from the Premier League. You weaken opposition, you strengthen yourself, and we've signed players that they fit straight into the Arsenal squad. Plug and play players. They suit the way Arsenal played last season. Set pieces, the way that we used to clean up, tackle. We're not scared of challenges. Rice, do you know what I mean? And now Rice isn't the only player, because for me, I was a little bit disappointed with last summer's transfer window, purely because I really liked Partey. I know there was loads of stuff going on with him. There still is. I don't think that's been settled yet. But he's long legs, he's big, he's powerful, he's strong. I really, really loved Partey, and I think a Partey in that squad last season, we would have played a different type of football. But I think Zubimendi, he did well first season in the Premier League. He's not the tallest of players, but I just believe that his stretch, his length of stretch with his legs. I always think that a big player looks good in there, you know, like a Onana, that type of long-legged player who can stretch for balls. Do you know what I mean? Just a Vieira type, Gilberto Silva type sort of player. I love those big players with big long legs. You know, that's what I like in the midfield. And for some reason, I feel that Zubi isn't quite that CDM that I would like. You know, and Bruno's a bit bigger. He's a bit stronger. He's probably a bit more. He's a different type of player in terms of he gets himself about a little bit more. I think with Zubi, he looked a little bit timid at times last season, like he was unsure whether to go in or stay. And obviously he had so many games last season where, you know, he was just thrown in at the deep end sort of thing. He did all right, like I said. I wouldn't call him poor, but I feel with Bruno we've upgraded on him. Yeah, so if you have Bruno, Odegaard and Rice, which Odegaard looks like he's back in, you know, he's finding some form, he looks healthy, he looks fit. And if we've got an Odegaard with a Rice and a Bruno, and they're all in form, damn, boy, you in trouble, son. You know what I mean? But yeah, the only place I would really upgrade is, I'm not too sure on Victor Gyökeres yet. Kai Havertz, I like his pressing, his relentlessness, his effort, his work rate. I just like, you know, he's not very good at finishing, but everything else I absolutely love about him. And sometimes he can come up with quality and score a good goal. He did that in the Champions League final for us. Obviously, he's a big lad, helps at set pieces. Not the best at headering, though, I must admit. Same as Victor Gyökeres. I mean, looking at his goals over the course of when we signed him last year, and we looked back at some videos of him, he didn't score many with his head. It was more power and feet and precision, and sort of like, you know, some tap-ins here and there, and and just being in the right place at the right time, you know. But I feel like with the way that we play set pieces, corners, crosses coming in from wide, Saka with great delivery, Rice with great delivery, Trezolis, I think, who's going to have just as good delivery as those two. I think we need someone whose headering is one of their best abilities. And I'm not too sure, but I think Victor Osimhen might be that guy, and I think that's why we're looking at him. And I just think that if you had Victor Osimhen, Victor Gyökeres, Kai Havertz all on in the last 10 minutes with Declan Rice, or not Declan Rice because of corners and Saka, but Merino is really good at timing his runs, really good at headers. Gabriel is really good at headers, really good at set pieces. Calafiori is not too bad at them as well. Another big lad. Saliba, another big lad. Konza, another big lad. I tell you, we're just adding to the strengths that we've already got. And I think that's really, really key. The only thing that I would love to see is a dead ball specialist. And I'm talking about free kick specialist. That every time you get a free kick, no matter where it is, how far out, no matter what angle, you've got a chance of scoring. Because this guy can just bang it in the back of the net. Almost like a Bruno Fernandes type player. Because whenever I see this guy on free kick or a dead ball, he's scoring. Or he's assisting. It's just, it's quite regular as well. And I don't watch Man United all the time, but dead ball specialist, you know, I would love to have someone like that. I miss the days of watching Beckham bang it into the top corner, or even, who was that player? Payet, who could do it from dead balls. Wow, he was good. You know, I would love to see a free kick specialist. You know, I would love to see those sort of goals. But yeah, Lewis Skelly, just look again into the depth. Lewis Skelly, Merino, if they could, if you know, especially if Merino could be fit, almost be like a new signing. He was out for quite a long period last year. I think we missed him in the Champions League final. If we had him, that really could have made a difference. A big player, can rotate in, play multiple positions. You know, very good at coming on as a super sub as well. Very good player. Very good. I believe if we had him fit, we you know what I mean? We won the league last season and struggled, and you know, without some of these players, with these key players, you know, and I just believe that we've strengthened in areas that are just going to be, just going to be too strong. And I believe the other teams have weakened. Villa have weakened, Newcastle have weakened, Chelsea have got rid of Cucurella and a few other players. They've weakened, in my opinion. Fans that I speak to, because I've got a lot of Chelsea friends, reckon they've done good business, but they say that every year, and then they come 8th last year. So I really don't know. You've got to take Chelsea fans' opinion about their own club with a pinch of salt, because they have so much confidence and believe that this not playing in Europe's going to give them a chance to win the league. I mean, I just don't see it, guys. I know Palmer's good, Rodgers is good, Caicedo's good, but their goalkeeper, their defence, and their striker, Joel Pedro, if he you know what I mean? If Joel Pedro gets injured, that's a disaster. What other striker's going to come in? I know they've kept Nico Jackson this year, but you know, who else they got? Esteval. They can't rely on a teenager to win a league title. I know that much. Pedro Neto's not a bad player. He could be going. Enzo Fernandez, good player, but he's more likely going to Man City. Let's be honest. I really don't see. If they kept all their players, Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez, and added to that squad, get a new goalkeeper and all these other things, I would be like, yeah, all right, brilliant. But the new goalkeeper signed, Mike Pendez, is it? He's got more errors leading to goals than Sanchez. If he's going to come in and play as the number one for Chelsea, I guarantee you, and they're all like, oh yeah, he's a brilliant signing. Deluded, mate. Deluded. I think Chelsea will get Champions League, but they're not, you know. For me, because they haven't got Europe, I would say that they could be closest to challenging us, but that just shows you how poor that the teams that are challenging us around us are. Spurs look like the best one. They've not got Europe. They've signed some brilliant players. They have been linked with some poor attackers until last night. And that was Omar Marmoush. And I thought, wow, if they go and get him, they're doing bits. They are doing bits. So I'm not going to speak too much about it, but I do think Spurs will definitely get Champions League. And just for food for thought, could you imagine if we had a North London derby title fight? It's possible. It's possible. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. It's possible. Not because of the players they're signing or the manager, this, that, and the other. But just because I'd say, I mean, let me just go through their depth quickly in midfield. That Fernandes guy they signed from West Ham, Tonali, Maddison, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Kudos. I'm not too sure who else. Yeah, I'm not too sure who else. I'm not a Spurs fan. I wouldn't know. But yeah, those sort of players. And they had loads of injuries last year. So I just think they're going to do so much better this year. No Europe, manager, bit of stability, new signings. There's probably a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope and excitement at Spurs. And I think that might carry them quite a way this year. Obviously, beautiful stadium. Not that I've ever been myself, but beautiful stadium. So yeah. Man City, Haaland, yeah, he's a goal machine. Brilliant. So a lot of people are saying they're going to be involved in the title race because of Haaland. No. Last year they scored too many goals, relied on Haaland a lot to get him out of trouble. A lot of high scoring games, a lot of conceding a lot of goals, but scoring one more than the opposition to win them the points. I don't think that's going to happen this year. They haven't got Pep as an influencer. His halftime team talks, his calmness, his confidence in the team and in their ability. They haven't got that this time. They've got Maresca, and just to something I said to one of my Man City friends, or my brother, should I say. It's like if you've got a genius and he's telling you all this stuff at halftime and everything, and a lot of people have already said this, that they sit there and they go, wow, what a genius Pep is, you know. I never thought of that would help me do this or help us in a certain way in a game, and it did. And therefore they had more confidence in Pep because of this sort of stuff, and they would listen to him and try and execute his ideas in match, and 9 times out of 10 that would work for him. A lot of these players as well that are already in the team have won at Man City. They won a double last year. They've won previous to that. They've not gone 10 years without a trophy. Is that hunger starting to go? Are they going to sit there and listen to Maresca at halftime, listen to his team talks, and going to sit there and say, it's not inspiring enough for them, you know? Like listening to Pep Guardiola, the best manager in the world, let's be honest, or was, probably still is, it depends. I don't know whether he's going to retire, go into World Cup international management, go back into club. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's been one of the best managers over the last God knows how many years. But listening to him and then having someone like Maresca, I just don't know if they're going to really feel that momentum from him, that confidence, that eagerness to win a title, that, you know. And I know he won the Club World Cup and he won the Conference League at Chelsea. He looked like he was doing all right at Leicester. When he was there as well, Maresca. He looks like a decent coach, but I just believe that when you're coming in from a Fergie, a Wenger, a Pep, a Klopp, it's hard to really pick up the reins and sort of run with it, you know. You really do have to completely change that squad and get them to believe in your way, you know. And I just don't know whether he's going to have enough time to do that. Will Maresca be one of the first managers sacked this year? I don't know. I don't know what Man City are like. They, you know, I mean, before Pep, they used to go through managers quite a bit. And if they felt it didn't work, then they will get rid of him. So, it's here and there. I don't know what to do about that. But, yeah. Liverpool, squad depth's light, new manager. Probably going to try and find his feet in the way that he wants them to play. Probably might realise halfway through the season that certain players ain't going to be right for him. Same as Maresca, really. Certain players might not be right for him. We might need to give him a season to try them, and then maybe in next summer or January, might have to sell them. Same as, I think those two clubs are sort of in the same sort of position. Lost a lot of players, both of them big players, and not really replaced any of them. So I'd say they're both in the same boat, really. And I think that although Man United weren't in Europe last year, and I'm not letting their good form with Carrick, even whilst they weren't in Europe, sort of affect my judgment, but I just believe that they've signed some good players this year to improve them. Whether it's enough to improve them to cope with the amount of extra games they're going to have this year is to be seen. But I do believe that they're on an upward trajectory. Sesko's had a season in the Premier League. Kuna and Bremwa are there. They're settling. They've had a season. Maguire, Lenny Euro. Layman's is in from the start, not halfway or a quarter through the season. Mazraoui's back, I believe. If they could keep a fit team, I believe they get Champions League again this season. I don't think they're going to drop a million miles. Obviously, we always have a stopgap in the halfway of the season for January transfers, so anyone can always add to boost their ability to achieve goals that they want to achieve this season. But I just don't. None of them I really believe are going to challenge Arsenal for the title. I just believe that because of Chelsea and Tottenham have got okay squads, pretty good squads, they could possibly challenge for the title based on the fact they've got no Europe. But I don't believe any of them are really in a position to do so. I really don't. I just think it's Arsenal's to walk. And if Arsenal don't win the Premier League by the end of the year, I think I'm going to have to call that a failure. As much as we've never retained the title before, I just think that we look in a better position than we did last year. Odegaard looks like he's in form. You know, last year we missed Odegaard pretty much all season. He had a few games here and there, kept getting injuries, never found his form, couldn't pick up rhythm, no consistency, not enough game time. It was bad. So we missed and he's our captain, so we missed him pretty much all season last year. Kai Havertz was always injured. He come back halfway through, picked up another injury. Gabriel Jesus was always injured. Timber was injured. Ben White was injured pretty much last year. He was trying to find his form, trying to come back into it because Timber was injured. We kept experimenting with certain players at right back. I think even Rice a few times played there. What else? Obviously, we had a few problems with left back sometimes. Wasn't massive like our right back issues, but our left back we did have a few issues at times. And I just don't feel. I feel like Nkapie's got a year of experience behind him. Zubimendi's got a year of experience behind him in the league as well now. The new signings we've got, Trozolis looks like he's here off. Bruno Guimaraes is a plug play. Sorry, I'm getting my mumbling jumbling, but yeah, I just believe we're well suited to win it this year, and if we don't, like I said, I think it would be a failure. So we've spoke about who will challenge Arsenal for the title, if anyone, and why, and we've spoken about Arsenal's squad depth and why it's scary. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you liked the video. Drop a like for me, hit the subscribe button. More content is coming your way. I promise you, this is going to become a regular occurrence. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.